Are you mentally strong? If not, look at how mentally strong people show themselves and what they do. In this motivational video, you'll see how you can reach your full potential and become the best version of yourself by developing a strong mind and building resilience. Even though life can be challenging, it's impossible to beat someone who won't give up. And today, we're going to show you 12 surprising signs of mentally strong people. Number 1. Saying no. People with solid minds know when to say no. They know where their emotional responsibility ends and someone else's begins. The same is true for them. They feel comfortable standing up for themselves and have learned that saying no to boundary violations, aggressions, and unfair behavior helps them in the long run. They don't feel bad or guilty about it. Instead, it makes them feel free and liberated. Number 2. Healthy relationships. Boundaries are the key to healthy relationships. You treat others fairly, which means you love and respect the people who deserve it. People don't waste their time, money, or energy on toxic people or put up with their bad behavior. If you find something dangerous or unhealthy, you decide what to do about it. Instead of reacting emotionally or taking it as it is, you are constantly thinking about your relationships with others and making decisions that will help you keep your boundaries. Number 3. You cannot be taken advantage of. A person with a strong mind doesn't let other people walk all over them. They don't let anyone take advantage of them. Let me ask you a question. Where in your life might you be letting someone walk all over you? Where are you allowing someone to take advantage of you? And if it were the best, strongest, most brave version of you, what advice it would give you in this situation? What advice would that version of you give you about what to do next? So, are people taking advantage of you? If so, what are you going to do about it? Number 4. You can adjust to new situations and stay strong when things don't go as planned. You know that the stress of these situations makes you stronger, so you look forward to them. You accept them. You move toward them because they will help you grow and become stronger. Number 5. Being kind and helping other people. Everyone is basically in charge of their own life. There are no positive obligations that were not chosen. You don't owe anyone anything by default, just like they don't owe you anything. People with solid minds are kind and helpful, but giving and helping others in kindness is not something you have to do. You are kind and helpful, but you don't feel responsible for other people's well-being, just as nobody feels responsible for yours. You can be kind and generous without having to worry or feel guilty. Number 6. You say you were wrong when you were. One of the best ways to build mental strength is to admit that you aren't always right and make mistakes, even though they aren't really mistaken. They offer chances to learn. They're opportunities to learn. You might have said something to a friend, family member, co-worker that you now wish you hadn't. By admitting where you went wrong, you can learn from your mistake and become mentally more decisive in the process. You might have done something wrong. Admit it. Be vulnerable. When you do this and admit that you had a mistake, you are also making your mind stronger simultaneously. Number 7. They learn from what goes wrong. People with strong minds don't beat themselves up for their mistakes. Instead, they focus on what they can learn from them. They take full responsibility for what they did and decide to move on in a good way. Number 8. Healthy self-focus. Instead of worrying about things you can't change or having big, scary goals, you live your life as healthily and mindfully as you can. You don't like people who play social games and don't play them yourself. You have a group of close friends and family members who really care about you and whom you love very much. You don't follow ideologies and don't give in to social, political, or philosophical stories, agendas, or drama. don't try to change the people around you so they'll like what you like. You don't worry about what your neighbor might be doing wrong or what they might be thinking. On social media, you don't stalk people or start fights with them. You do things to make your life better without hurting people. You start with yourself and your immediate surroundings. Number 9. You find solutions to your problems. You can ask for help because that could be part of finding a solution to a problem you're trying to solve. But you have to take the lead in finding that solution. You are in charge. You accept that you must figure out how to solve that problem independently. You just can't sit around and wait for someone else to come along and solve your problems. So, how much are you figuring out how to solve your problems? Number 10. A rational, present mind. You see things as they are. Using reason, logic, observation, and common sense, you have a good idea of how things really are. On the other hand, irrational people acting logically can only come up with conclusions or connections that make sense to them, but they're actually short-sighted or plain silly. You can keep your awareness high enough that you can accept things as they are without fooling yourself or being able to control your emotions. You know how to be present without living in the past or worrying about what the future might hold. Number 11. Being proactive instead of being passive or reactive. You know that you are the only one in charge of your own life. If there is a problem, you can think about your choices and decide what to do. On the other hand, passive people usually feel overwhelmed or disconnected to the point where they feel stuck and unable to do anything. In the same way, a reactive person reacts automatically to things instead of making decisions on their own. People who are passive or reactive rarely realize that they are making decisions. Proactive people are aware of their feelings, thoughts, and goals. Even though your life is hard, you enjoy living it. Number 12. You are patient enough to wait to see how your actions turn out. You can only sometimes need some things right now. You don't need to be happy or see results immediately. You can play the long game because you know that the pain of discipline today is much less painful than the pain of regret for not working on the things you should be working on. These were 12 signs of mentally strong people. If you think you can add to this list, let us know in the comment section below. We'll see you next time.